4 years ago in Qatar, Morocco walked out for a World Cup semi-final as the neutrals' darling, the team that had already shut out Belgium, Spain, and Portugal on the way there. France ended that fairy tale with a clinical 2-0 win and went on to lift the trophy. On Thursday, the same two sides meet again, one round earlier this time, in the quarterfinals at Gillette Stadium, and there is a genuine sense that Morocco still owes someone a receipt. This isn't a rematch anyone is treating casually. Whoever wins walks straight into a semi-final against the Spain-Belgium survivor, and both camps know precisely what's riding on 90 minutes, maybe more. This is no longer a plucky underdog story either. Morocco arrive unbeaten through 5 matches under a new head coach, built around several of the same faces who broke hearts in Qatar. France arrive as the tournament's most ruthless side by a distance, perfect through the group stage, the leading scorers in the competition, and only recently shown to have any nerves at all. A win here would send Les Bleus to a third consecutive World Cup semi-final, a feat only 2 other nations have ever managed, and it would extend an unbeaten run in competitive fixtures that now stretches to 12 matches. Morocco, for their part, have never treated this tournament as a nostalgia tour. They came to finish what 2022 started. How they got here. France have barely broken a sweat for most of this World Cup. A flawless group campaign, wins over Senegal, Iraq, and Norway, was followed by a stylish, one-sided 3-0 dismantling of Sweden in the round of 32. Then came Paraguay, and suddenly this looked like a different French team altogether. Frustrated by a well-drilled, niggly opponent and some shaky officiating, Les Bleus needed a 70th minute penalty from Kylian Mbappé just to scrape past 1-0. It wasn't a classic, but for a side some felt hadn't been properly examined yet, that afternoon in the trenches may end up mattering more than any of the routes that came before it. Morocco's route has been the story of a team refusing to be rattled by anything. A draw with Brazil, a hard-fought win over Scotland, and a 4-2 shootout with Haiti got them out of their group in second place. The round of 32 brought a tense, goalless stalemate against the Netherlands, a side plenty of pundits had fancied to go all the way, settled only on penalties. Beating a team that several pre-tournament models had pegged as legitimate title contenders was the moment that changed how neutrals talk about this Morocco squad. Then, in the round of 16, Morocco delivered their most complete display of the tournament, brushing aside co-hosts Canada 3-0 behind a brace from Ezzedine Ounahi and a late finish from substitute Soufiane Rahimi. Canada's manager Jesse Marsh left the pitch insisting his side had been the better team for long stretches. The scoreline said otherwise, and that gap between performance and result is exactly the kind of ruthlessness Morocco have built this run on. A referee nobody can stop talking about, as if the football itself wasn't enough of a draw. FIFA has handed everyone something extra to argue about. Argentine official Facundo Tello has been appointed to take charge, backed by an entirely Argentine team of assistants, the first time this tournament that every official in the middle has come from a single country. Given that Argentina are still alive in the competition and could theoretically meet the winner of this very fixture, the appointment set social media alight within minutes of being announced, with accusations of favoritism flying from more than one direction. It doesn't help Tello's case that he has previous history with Morocco. He was the referee who sent off Walid Chedira during their 2022 quarter-final win over Portugal. FIFA's explanation is that this is simply how the rotation works. Officiating crews are routinely drawn from one nation as long as that nation's own team isn't involved in the match. It's also worth remembering this cuts both ways. A French referee took charge of Argentina's bad-tempered win over Egypt just days ago, a game the Egyptian Federation has since formally complained about. Inside both camps, the players have tried to rise above the noise. France's Dayot Upamecano waved away questions about the officials entirely, and backup goalkeeper Robin Risser made a similar point about staying professional rather than paranoid. Easier said than done, probably, in a tournament that has already burned France once this week over a disciplinary decision, walking a disciplinary tightrope. That earlier controversy centers on Michael Olise, and the timing could not be worse. Booked in stoppage time against Paraguay after a coming together with Matias Galarza, Replays suggested barely any contact was made. Olise is now one caution away from missing a possible semi-final. The French Federation formally appealed to have the card wiped. FIFA rejected it on Wednesday, meaning Olise has to survive Thursday without a second yellow. He isn't the only one in that position. Bradley Barcola and Manu Kone were both booked in the same game. Kone's situation carries extra weight because he's also the man expected to step into midfield if Aurelien Tchouameni isn't ready. Tchouameni has been nursing a thigh injury since before the Paraguay match and remains a genuine doubt, with assistant coach Guy Stéphane unable to offer much certainty even this close to kickoff. Marcus Thuram is carrying a thigh concern of his own. Morocco have their own fitness questions too. Ismail Saibari, impressive through the groups, was withdrawn early against Canada with a hamstring strain, while doubts linger over center-back Chadi Riyad's readiness to return. The players who can decide it, Mbappé leads the tournament with 7 goals, edging Lionel Messi slightly in the race for the Golden Boot, and he remains the one player Morocco cannot afford to switch off against for even a second. Ousmane Dembélé, playing this tournament fresh off winning the Ballon d'Or, has partnered him superbly up front with 4 goals of his own. But the individual story of this World Cup for France might actually belong to Olise. 5 assists already, the most by anyone in a single tournament since 1994, and just one short of the all-time record Pelé set in 1970. For a player still writing his first World Cup chapter, that's an absurd rate of production, and exactly why his disciplinary trouble matters so much heading into Thursday. Désiré Doué has quietly added to the danger too, drawing the stoppage-worthy penalty that Mbappé converted against Paraguay. One more reminder that this French front line has almost too many ways to hurt an opponent. Morocco aren't short of storylines of their own. Achraf Hakimi continues to lead from the back as captain. Brahim Diaz already holds the record for most World Cup assists by an African player, and Unahi has now scored in consecutive knockout rounds. There's a sharper edge to this one too. 18-year-old Ayoub Bouaddi, born and raised an hour outside Paris and caped for France at every youth level, turned down Les Bleus to represent his parents' country instead. He'll line up against the national team he once wore the shirt of, arguably the most emotionally loaded subplot of the entire round. Win or lose, Thursday is only one bracket of a rapidly emptying draw. Spain host Belgium for the other semi-final spot on this side of the tournament on Friday, while Norway face England and Argentina meet Switzerland on the other side over the following days. Whoever gets through won't have long to find out who's waiting for them in the last 4, and if Spain do their part, a mouth-watering France-Spain semi-final is suddenly very much on the table. For a tournament that has produced fewer genuine shocks than usual this deep into the draw, Thursday in Boston might be the clearest chance left for one. Whatever happens, this feels bigger than a normal last 8 tie. 4 years of unfinished business finally getting a second telling. Tactically, expect a heavyweight version of what Morocco have done all tournament. Sit compact, invite the pressure, and look to hurt France on the turnover. The difference is that France's front line has the individual quality to unlock a low block without needing a mistake to help them, and a backline of Koundé, Saliba, and Upamecano that has been trusted to play a high line all summer without being properly punished for it. Morocco will make it uncomfortable, and there's a real chance this one drags into extra time before anybody blinks. But with the firepower France have available right now, and Morocco needing everything to go right at once, I'm backing Les Bleus to find a way through late and win it 2-1.